In the previous videos, we talked about what glycemic index is. Another important concept to understand is glycemic load. Glycemic index gives us a feel for how blood glucose level goes up when you consume 50 grams of carbohydrate, and foods are classified as low, medium and high GI foods based on blood glucose raise relative to consuming 50 grams of glucose. So GI gives us an indication on the kinds of foods we should consume, such as low GI foods whose GI is less than 55. These foods are recommended for diabetics, pre-diabetics, and for that matter, wellness-conscious consumers. Now, another concept is the concept of glycemic load, which gives us guidance around how much quantity of food one should consume. To illustrate this point, let us take the example of a watermelon. Watermelon contains about 7.5 grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams of the fruit. GI of watermelon is 72, so it is considered a high GI food. But in the GI test, one has to consume 667 grams of watermelon, which is something that no one consumes on a daily basis. Normally, you consume a cup of the fruit, which might be 100 to 150 grams. So while GI is a good metric on the kinds of food choices we need to make, we need another metric that guides us on how much of a particular food or portion sizes we should consume. This is where glycemic load comes into play. GL was proposed by Harvard University in the late 90s, and it is calculated as follows. As shown here in this equation, glycemic load is equal to glycemic index multiplied by grams of carbohydrate in the portion size you consume divided by 100. Just like glycemic index classification, there is also a glycemic load classification. Portion sizes of foods with GL less than 10 are low GL foods. Those with GL between 10 and 20 are classified as intermediate GL foods, and those with a GL greater than 20 are called as high GL foods. So now let us see how the watermelon works out in this calculation. As stated earlier, practically speaking, let us say we consume a cup of watermelon that contains about 150 grams of watermelon fruit. So using this equation, glycemic load of 150 grams of watermelon works out to 8.1, which is therefore classified as a low GL portion. Let us now take the example of a popular sweet, som papdi. Here we have GI and GL of som papdi made with normal cane sugar and som papdi made with diabolus sugar. In this formulation, you can see consuming 40 grams of som papdi shows that GI and GL with normal cane sugar fall in the medium category, whereas with diabolus sugar, they fall in the low GI and low GL category. So in summary, GI gives us an indication of the kinds of food we should consume, and GL gives us guidance about portion size. Most nutritionists all over the world recommend diabetics and pre-diabetics and wellness-conscious consumers to consume low GI and low GL foods for optimal health and well-being. Thank you.